Hey guys, welcome back my channel The Learning Destinations. I'm your host Avinash and today I bring a topic which is very useful and demanding. The topic is why we need tagging in AWS. So listen and watch it carefully. In next couple of lines, I'm going to explain you that why tagging is more important for us. Okay, so from first the cost management perspective, we can track the spending, so easily allocate and track cost by tagging resources with cost centers or project names. Optimize resources, identify underutilized or orphaned resources by analyzing tag data. Okay, this is from the cost management point of view. The second one is resource organization. Simplify management, organize and categorize resources by environment like day, production, prod, owner, or applications. Enhance searchability, quickly find resources using tags through AWS Resource Explorer and other tools. Security and compliance, access control, implement fine-grained access control by using tags in AWS IAM policies. Audit and compliance, ensure resource comply with organizational policies by tagging them according to compliance requirement. Automation and operations, streamline automations, automate tasks like backup, shutdown, and notification based on our tags, which is again very useful. And resource monitoring, use tags to filter and monitor resource in dashboard or alter for targeted insight. Okay. The fifth one is improved collaborations, cross team visibility, enhance visibility and collaboration across teams by tagging resource with ownership or usage information. Consistency, maintain consistent resource identification across multiple AWS and regions. So in one word, we can say as a conclusion that efficiency and control, tagging provides better control over your AWS environment, leading to optimized cost, streamline operations, and improve governance. So these are a couple of useful points which gives you insight that why we need tagging in AWS. All right, guys. So now I am going to show you a fully automated functions in next lab sections, which is capable to search all the untagged resources and then it will apply the respective tags. Let's watch it. Alright guys, so let's start the practical session. So before I jump into the practical session, let me explain first through this diagram. So understand these two requirements first, Lambda and the Resource Explorer. So first I'm going to talk about Resource Explorer. So basically AWS Resource Explorer is a service which allows you to search, visualize and discover the AWS resources across the regions in that account. So when you turn on this Resource Explorer, by default it is turned off, and that I am going to show you now. So when you turn on the Resource Explorer, basically it will create indexes of the resources, whatever the resources exist under in that particular AWS account. Then this Lambda function, so here I am going to write one Lambda functions. The functions will be written into the Python. Basically it is a snippet of Python code. So this Lambda functions will be going to search all the AWS resources in under Resource Explorer against that particular indexes, and it will find particular tag line. So suppose if this is the tag environment equal productions, so this Lambda function is going to search this tagline, and if this Lambda function it doesn't find this tag, then it will create the tagline, then it will assign the tag environment equal productions against the indexes which is created under the Resource Explorer. Okay, so under the Resource Explorer, let's suppose that this Lambda function finds this resource doesn't have tag environment equal productions. Okay, so that time this Lambda function, then after that it will tag this environment equal production to these resources. Okay, now I'm going to speak about EventBridge. So in EventBridge, the same, I mean basically these functions, these two functions, I'll integrate with the EventBridge. So what it will do, I'll create a rule inside that. So every 1 hour, I mean it depends on you for how many minutes or hours you want to trigger this Lambda event. Okay, so suppose if I keep 1 hour, for every 1 hour this EventBridge will trigger the Lambda functions, and this Lambda functions will keep searching the resources which doesn't have tag. So if it finds that any resources which doesn't have tag, then it will go and tag this particular key and the value pair. So that's how this whole scenario works. And now I'm going to show you complete practical sessions of this one. Alright guys, so now let's play with the actual tech part now, and this is the service Resource Explorer. So firstly I'm going to create Resource Explorer and I visit into my AWS account. This is the service AWS Resource Explorer, and having said that, it is a by default turn off, so we need to turn on the Resource Explorer. Okay, here I experience one error. Let me show you and then I will experience. So as of now, if I'm going to enable, let's say I'm going to enable in Northern Virginia region. Okay, turn on Resource Explorer. So here you can see that the reason there is some cooldown period. The reason this error occurred because I was keep performing testing and I was keep deleting indexing. So and I believe that this is my free tier account, so I have some limitations, and this cooldown period will be over after 24 hours. Okay, so if I go through this GUI interface, I'm unable to create the indexes successfully for this reason. Okay, so what I'll do, I'm going to delete this from here, but somehow it is working from the command line. The only problem is that as of now, if you can see that this indexes is, if I do it through the GUI interface, if I enable it, it is by default enabled for all resources. It means the index is getting created for all the regions. Okay, but as of now, as having said that, there is some limitations and there is some cooldown period because I was already deleted many times these resources because I was performing some testing. So it is not allowing me through this GUI interface to create for all the create indexes for all the regions. So what I am going to do now, I'm going to perform the same activity through the command line, but only for one region, Northern Virginia region, that is working. Okay, so I'm going to delete it firstly from here completely, this one, and after that, so I wanted to show you just in case if you also perform the same task and if you get error, if you come across such kind of error, so you will have experience that it happens. Okay, so I check, nothing is enabled. Okay, everything is cleaned here. Okay, so this time I'm going to do it from the command line. So this is one of the Linux machine, guys, and here I have already one role through the AWS configure command. I have already set one role here. Okay, so that is the reason that this system is able to communicate with this my AWS account. So I'm going to run this. So this is the command to create AWS Resource Explorer. It means you can turn on through the command line and you need to define the reason. So the command is very simple: AWS Resource Explorer, create index, and you need to define the reason. Okay, so from here I'm going to make an enter. Okay, so here you can get the ARN values. That means the Resource Explorer is on, index is created. But here we need to create the views manually. So first we go here, Resource Explorer. Okay, and okay, so if you create through the GUI, the views is automatically created. You don't need to create. But if you create through the command line from here, okay, you need to manually create the views. So if we go in setting, and here you can see that the index is created, but index is created only for the US East 1 region because I have hard coded the value only for one. Okay, if you want to enable it for all the regions, there is change index type. You can do it, aggregate index here. Okay, like that. And if you simply, if the portal is allowing you to turn on the Resource Explorer, which we have seen earlier, then by default you will see the views is created, and here you will see all hyphen resources, and here you will see the all the indexes which we have seen previously. Okay, so let's go and create view manually. I give it name again the same, all resources. Okay, and I select Northern Virginia region, then create view. So here view is created, and after that now we are going to create this Lambda function. So let's go to create the Lambda functions now. All right, so I'm going to create the new, let me delete this, the older one. I'll create a new one. Okay, it was already deleted. Create function, and I give it name AWS resource tagging hyphen tagging, and here you can select Python 3.11. Okay, and then since I was already testing it, so I have already one of the role which I am going to use, and I will see you the permissions, which kind of permissions I have assigned to this role. Create function. Okay, so function is created. After that, we need to define the code. So guys, this is my GitHub repository, AWS tagging lambda.py. Okay, resource tagging, this is the repository name. You can copy the entire code from here. Okay, and this is the same code which I am going to run under the lambda functions. And let me explain you a little bit. So this function is basically helping us to connect this environment into this my AWS account environment. After that, it is going to filter the tag value environment first. If it doesn't find, then it will give the tag environment equal and the value is production, which I have hard coded. Let me show you below here. Okay, so this is going to assign the tag basically environment equal product to all the resources which finds under this environment, under this indexes. Okay, so and then let me little bit explain you. So this part is doing functions to categorize resource by their reason. Okay, then here functions to apply the environment prod, environment equal prod tag to resource grouped by the reason. Okay, and then here main functions for the AWS Lambda handler. Fetch the list of resource missing the specific tag. It gives you the list, number of counts, etc. You can more explore here. I have just given one liner of explanations. Okay, so let me copy this code from here. Copied, and this is the Lambda functions. Okay, so I delete this one, copy paste, deploy. Okay, but before deploy, we need to change the views ARN. So we go and we copy this views ARN, and then we need to mention here they are the ARN value. So it is going to take the indexes of this particular views. Okay, then deploy this Lambda functions. Let's create one test. I give it name experiment, then leave it this value by default. Save the test. One more thing guys, come into the configurations. In general configurations, I increase the timeout value because this is going to be take approx 30 to 60 seconds. By default it is a 3 seconds, so you will get the error. And since I already performed many round of testing, so I know where exactly I need to make the changes. And then come to the code. Okay, and now let's go and create one resources. So come to the diagram. So this is one of the resources. The moment when I create the resources, the index will pick out these resources. Then Lambda is going to query to this resource explorer. It will check the indexes. Then it will find the resources. And this resources doesn't have this tagline. So what the Lambda will do, the Lambda functions will assign a tag to this particular resources. Okay. So I'm going to create this resource now. All right. Go to VPC. And I'm going to create one VPC called VPC only I need. This is just for testing. So I give it name test-VPC. I give it range 10.0.0.0/16 cider range. Create VPC. Come to this VPC, test VPC, come to tags, and here you can see that this is the default tagline assigned, but it doesn't have the tagline which we have defined into the Lambda functions. Let me go to Lambda functions. So in our Lambda functions, the tagline is environment equal productions. Okay, this is our Lambda function. And come down and go to code here. Let me show you. So here I'm talking about these values. Okay, so which is not assigned to this VPC. Okay, and the moment when I run this lambda functions, the tag will be applied to this resources. Okay, let's do that. Let's run this experiment and run the test. So currently it is running, you can see that. Okay, so here it will give the total assigned and non-assigned the resources here. Okay, the untagged resources counts here, and then let's see that if I refresh it, then if everything is okay, then it should tag here. We can see the environment equal productions tag here. So I refresh the page and let's go to tag sections. So here we can see that. Okay, so successfully. All right, guys. So we can see that this lambda function is successfully tagged the resources, okay, which we have created. And this is the default VPC. If we check this VPC here, okay, so this tag earlier I have applied, but right now we can see that the new tag is also applied to this resource. Okay, let's go to security group and check if it is applied there also. Security group. And I'm going to pick one of the security group. Let's say I'm picking this one. So here we can see that the tag is applied. Okay, one more thing I can show you that you can generate the CSV of all the resources, okay, from here. And then you can basically, this is kind of report which you can see that from here you can track all the resources which you have tagged or not. I think I need to export visible all columns, export all columns. Let's say this one, open it. Okay, so from here, this one is the previously which I applied. Okay, and this one is the new one. So I'm going to apply the filter on it, and then I will pick it up on what kind of resources it applied all the fraud. Okay, so these are the environment. So from here you can check all the resources, right, which it has applied the production. So technically, in one shot, what I want to say that if you do this, if you write these functions, right, and if tomorrow your management is asking that can you generate a report where your tag is applied for the resources, so in such a way you can download this CSV file and you can represent to your management that these are the resources where this lambda functions has tagged this particular values. Okay, so in such a way. Okay, so now I'm going to perform this the same, and now I'm going to create a one event bridge rule which will trigger this lambda functions. Okay, let's start. All right, guys, let's go to EventBridge. So this is currently the Lambda functions. Let's go to EventBridge and we will create one rule inside that. EventBridge. Merge on EventBridge. Okay, go to rules. After that, create rules. I give it name AWS Resource Tagging. Okay, and then I want to schedule it. Continue in EventBridge scheduler. This one I was testing it, but it wasn't succeeded. Okay, so I'm not going with these options. I stick with the continue to create rules. You can try, you can give a try, and for every 10 minutes. So here you can define the exact values, and let's say because just now I need to test it. Okay, but before that, what I'll do, I'll create one more resource. Okay, so then we will see that once the lambda function is triggered, it will assign this tagging or not. So here I'm going to create another VPC, and you can create any resources, guys. Don't stick only with the VPC. So I'm going to create another VPC. I can say my VPC. and I give it range 10.0.0.0/24. Create VPC, and we check that this VPC doesn't have the tag environment equal productions. Okay, so now I'm going to create, and I schedule it for 5 minutes. I say 5 minutes, or let's say I say it only for 2 minutes. Okay, next. Then this is arbitrary value, the guys. This one depends on your need, depends on your requirement. You can change the value. Okay, select a target. So target is my lambda functions, right? My lambda functions, and after that you can select here lambda functions. So this is the lambda functions name, AWS resource tagging, and then next. Okay, create rule. Okay, now it should be visible here. If I am not wrong, just refresh it. So here we can see that EventBridge, that one, and now it will invoke for every 2 minutes. Okay, you get to configurations trigger, and here also you can see that the same EventBridge new AWS resource tagging, and this is the same. So this event bridge is going to trigger this lambda functions in 2 minutes, because the value we have set for 2 minutes, so we need to wait for 2 minutes. Okay, so once it is triggered, once it is invoked, then I will be back. Till the time I just pause this video. All right guys, so 2 minutes is completed, and let me check here. And so this one, we can go to monitor sections, and we can see that if there is any. So here you can see that event age, so one is invoked. Okay, we can refresh and can see more invocation. So here you can see that it currently invokes for every 2 minutes. Okay, and then we go and check the resources. So this is the VPC which we have created earlier, and we haven't tagged manual. So now we can see that here environment equal productions. Okay, so this tagging is happened through this event rule. Okay, so this event rule has triggered this lambda functions. Then this lambda functions has checked the resources, and it found the new VPC which doesn't have tag, and the VPC was my VPC, and it tagged the environment equal prod. All right guys, that's all from this sections, and I hope you thoroughly enjoyed these sessions. This is my YouTube channel. You can subscribe my YouTube channel, and I'm pretty sure that I can assure you, for every class of IT engineers there is something. There are various sessions are recorded there, so definitely you will get benefited if you subscribe. Okay, then I'm also available on LinkedIn. You can follow me. My name is Avinash Mato on LinkedIn, and if you have any questions, you can directly message me and I will help you there. Okay, so, and if you have other questions also, you can just put me in the video comment sections. Okay, so that's all from this time guys, that's all from this sessions, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Till the time, thank you so much for watching this. Have a lovely day.